Texas Cavalry, right off the jump. Their starting line hasn't even subbed out yet. McGregor typically the guy that subs out. Speedster. And they're going to restart. Cole Travis is yelling something. Number 19 for Texas Cavalry. They're going to call false start for sure. Question is who was on. They're going to send McGregor, Andrew McGregor, who, by the way, one of very few Quidditch players in the world who played high school Quidditch.
Oh, no kidding.
Before he got to Virginia Tech. Sorry, to Virginia, who played here earlier today. Played for DCQC, now a part of Texas Cavalry from Spring, Texas.
You know, it's strange. I think I've seen more false starts today than I have seen in my entire 7-year Quidditch career.
Well, I can tell you this, man. When there's a national championship on the line, you got to call it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Hey, at least we don't almost had another one. Now on the run here, Simona Renz is going to get that one. He flies over the top of the Lone Star original line there. Simona actually strips the ball away, and Casey Irwin comes over with possession. The two beaters run past her, and it looks like Jackson and Lone Star are going to start with two male beater. And they're going to send Mandy in here. And they're going to send Augie Monroe out there for possession. Martin Bermudez, the starting lineup for Texas Cavalry. They have a speed lineup out there to make sure they get as many bludgers as they possibly can. And also the quaffle. That's Augie Monroe up there with the quaffle coming around the perimeter. Founder and the guy whose idea Texas Cavalry was, he is a UT alum. So a lot of people cheering him on here as well.
I think you'll find that both these teams are no strangers to the finals, both having been to the finals themselves as these iterations of these teams, many of them hailing from UT, from Texas A&M, from Texas State, all three of those schools who have been to the finals multiple times.
And the only real outlier in this situation is Cole Travis, who graduated from LSU. And a face beat from Cole Travis right here on the right-hand side. Augie taking his time. Simona Ren's going to be subbed back into the game.
I misspoke. They've all been to the semifinals.
All been to the semifinals, no doubt.
I think you talk to any Texas A&M alum, and they will be quick to tell you that indeed they did not.
Mandy Marsden just got pulled down after she beat Lone Stars, beat her up front, and it looks like the first goal of the U.S. Quidditch Cup 11 National Championship will be scored by Cavalry. That's 10-0 lead for them. But yes, like you said, you talk to any Texas A&M alum and Texas alum, they will tell you just how proud they are of their programs. That's why they give back so much. Texas Cavalry, Simona Renz, number 20 for them, head coach for UT, who just clinched their spot in the national championship. They'll be playing the University of Rochester, the Threstrels.
Very exciting for the Threstrels, absolutely. This is finally their year that they're clicking. But until we get to that game, we are here watching Lone Star v. Cavalry. Cavalry, the defending champions of the title.
And to be honest with you, Matt Dwyer, who's joining us here, of Lake Erie Elite. You look at Texas Cavalry, they're about to do something that's pretty rare in Quidditch. Win the championship in USQ. Most of these guys are on Austin Outlaws of MLQ. And then on top of that, if they win here today, 3 consecutive national championships. That's a lot of hardware to wear around your neck if they can come up with it. Mandy Marsden trying to track down the ball over here, and somebody's down. One of the photographers.
Big over-the-shoulder tackle here on Casey Irwin. Man, that was a failure of patience there on Lone Star keeper.
And hold on a second here, see if he gets up from it. Stevie Bell having a conversation with one of the officials. Casey Irwin still down on the ground. There's a yellow card being administered, and it's going to be Grigori who comes out of here, and he's going to be sent to the box. That's back-to-back games that Grigori's been sent to the box. He was sent there during Lone Star's matchup with Lost Boys. They're about to restart play here. Jackson about to drop that on the shoulder of Casey Irwin to keep her beat. Does he even do it is the question. Or is he just going to fake it? Now Luke Lignellis is going to run that ball down. Simona Renz is going to be the guy. He gets hit by 2 bludgers. Augie Monroe about to get hit. Oh, not before Hula gets hit from behind as well. Augie on a run and a tackle, and it's 20-0 Cavalry.
I think that's one of the harder things to stop in Quidditch is Augie Monroe when he's on a run.
He's, surprisingly enough, very strong and also very slippery. I've tried to run the guy down myself and failed many a time.
If you're old, you know that his nickname used to be Slipstream back in the day.
And the guy, and I can definitely see why there. The guy clearly puts a lot of effort and emphasis into his fitness, and it looks like Lone Star is going to have Let's see if they're going to get their first goal waved off here. But like I said, Matt Dwyer, in attendance, the man who started it all. Alex Benepi has been here all day, and I feel offended that I didn't recognize him. I went to the bathroom, and it was like seeing a flashback from the movie Mudbloods, which inspired me to watch and play Quidditch for the first time ever. A movie about UCLA's Quidditch team making their journey, I believe, to World Cup 2 or something like that, where they would face Middlebury and fall for the second time in a row. So
I believe that movie was about World Cup 5, about the UCLA team. Certainly, I've also seen that. I am acquainted with Alex Benaby. He's a great guy. I've had the privilege of having several conversations with him, and I can only imagine what it's like to be in his head, to look out here, to see these full stands here at a night game playing Quidditch under the lights, seeing the top teams in the country who have been built up not over months but over years of continued player development, of continued effort, of continued practice to get to this point. It must feel amazing.
A guy who knows that he sparked this entire existence of this sport, born from the pages of a fantasy, now very real on this pitch. As we saw earlier today, Texas get a very real bid to the national championship that's coming up right after this. Luke Licknellis is going to be sent to the box for Lone Star. TJ Goldie going to go over and dap him up over there, make sure he's all right mentally. That's usually a key move, right, Matt Dwyer? You got to go over and make sure your friends who've been sent to the box are okay. And now a run down over to the hard boundary. Some spectators over there in the way. Did it touch the hard boundary? It's going to be a turnover. Mark Bermuda is going to have to give that to Lone Star.
Big pass over the top. That seemed a little uncharacteristic for Calvary. I think that was just a missed time pass. They wanted to get that one a little shorter. And now you've got Stevie Bell coming in.
Martin Bermuda is like the guy he was aiming at in that situation. Very quick, very fast, but Grigori showing off their legs there as well, showing off the jets there as well. And it looks like Luke Licknell is about to be subbed back into this game in a second. Well, released from the box here in a second.
We've got Cody Marshall on the outside feeding Bell. He gets beat immediately. I don't think he was aware of that beater there, certainly.
Carlos Ilarba, formerly of Sam Houston State University, actually won the Division II championship at World Cup 8 way back in the day. The proudest moment in Bearcat history. Now looking for an angle over here. Cody Marshall back up top to Stevie Bell, who once again very much like Augie in the sense that they're both very slippery, quick and agile. And now Calvary with the beat up front, but still being worked back into their keeper zone over here on the left-hand side. Stevie Bell looking for a lane. His teammates over here on the bench telling him to make that run. He's got two chasers in front of him. Can Stevie get around Casey Irwin? He can, but can he finish? He gets one through the center hoop. They're going to call that no good.
Just a little wide there. Pushed off a little hard, and they're going to go in for a hard tackle there on Cavalry. Cody Marshall off Broom. They're still fighting for it. Cavalry beats. Stevie Bell coming up with the ball, and he's going to run off. Shot over the top is wide. He just had to get that one out of there. The beater was coming.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Good shot. Still on target a little bit. And this matchup, and like you said, Matt, a lot of this matchup essentially Texas versus Texas. A lot of Texas alums on both of these teams here. And out there as well. Very intense on his tackles and great strength in his lower body. Mandy has been pulled down. The bludger is loose. All three bludgers are down, and Texas Cavalry's trying to seize that opportunity. Nothing doing on a second here. And his mishandle and a pass over there. And Gossie's trying to get a run going. And he's telling Ellis is going to regain possession. Carlos coming back into the field of play after losing his bludger. Now fighting for bludger control with Jackson coming out of the way. He'll deflect that one bludger, and now he'll set up to try and stop it defensively. It hits off the bottom of the hoop. And hold on a second. We have, looks like a stoppage of play for a possible injury for Lone Star.
That was a great tackle there on Gregoire. He was really pushing the pace, trying to get the drive in as the beaters blew up the play. Emily Hickman in there at beater. Really pushing those Cavalry beaters on the outside, creating that situation. Unfortunately, Gregoire shot low, and Cavalry coming up with the ball.
And these are shots that you typically have seen throughout the course of this tournament for Lone Star go in, but because of the intensity of this game and dare say, of course, the better defensive coverage out here, they are coming up just a little bit short. These two teams are very familiar with each other in terms of the season series, Matt Dwyer. 3-2 overall with Lone Star having those 3 wins and 2 of those to Calvary. Josh Andrews already lining up to get ready to go and snitch play. He's not coming back into the field of play, and it looks like there's going to be a penalty throw.
It's a blue card on number 4, Lynn Collenbach, for playing after beat. That's an unfortunate penalty. but pretty manageable early on in the game.
No doubt about that. And, of course, the slow pace of this game, of course, directly ties to the fact that they want this to come down to snitch on pitch play, and they want to save their energy for when they can possibly try and run up the score with a couple of key defensive stops. And Lone Star, a team that has eclipsed 200 points multiple times this season and has the legs to be able to run both of these teams pretty deep off the bench in terms of talent. Coming into this matchup, Texas Cavalry is ranked 8th in the USQ rankings. This is just their 3rd year of existence as a team, a branch-off team of Lone Star Quidditch Club. And Matt, average margin of victory for Texas Cavalry prior to the postseason starting here, 90 points for these guys. Very accustomed to scoring a ton. Won the U.S. Quidditch Cup 10 national championship, and the year before that, believe it or not, in U.S. Quidditch Cup 9, lost to Lone Star 130-20 in the Sweet 16.
Very
how far they've come.
There. Yeah, it's certainly you learn from the lumps you take at nationals, that's for certain. Cavalry really just looking to do a penalty kill here until their beater can come back in. Cole Travis trying to hold down the fort, creating a little bit of a situation. Augie spun down, comes back on his feet, dumps it off to Casey Irwin. She was wide open on the backside.
That should be 60-10 coming up.
Man, doesn't that feel bad that you got scored on while you had a power play?
And 60-20 coming up here. Cavalry with the lead here, and now they are back at full strength. Jackson's going to have his bludger thrown back for him, and the throw behind the hoops. That's Cody Marshall running the perimeter, trying to find an option. He's got 2 chasers coming. He's got Cole Travis and a chaser coming up on him. Simone, there is a twist of Simone Aren's arm, and it hits Becca DuPont right in the face. Not intentionally, just trying to separate her hand from the quaffle.
She seems to be not too happy about that.
No doubt about it. She's still having a conversation with Martin Bermudez on the far side of the pitch over here. And
Cavalry probing the defense, seeing exactly what they want to do here. Monroe on the far side. Aaron's up top.
And it looks like Mandy's going to come up with a bludger here in a second. And Cole Travis is going to get it. Going to have a free run at the hoops. Initially, some contact on the shoulder. Augie, as you can see right now, ladies and gentlemen, has not skipped leg day. The guy is near untouchable here as he's trying to get around the hoops there. There's a mob in front of the hoops.
It took 3 chasers and a beater to take him down.
Multiple times to try and make contact with him. Hold on, we got an advantage call, and it's going to go for Lone Star. Somebody trying to play through a beat or something, or trying to swat the bludger possibly.
As ticky-tack as it may sound, those are the types of things that referees need to get a hold on. And even if you swat that bludger and just out of anger, even if it doesn't affect the play, it's still an illegal interaction, and that's still going to result in a problem.
And so far this season, like we mentioned, 3 losses for Cavalry versus Lone Star, 160-120. Lone Star winning off a snitch pull. 180-140. Lone Star wins that one. 90-70. Lone Star wins that one as well. The only other loss for Texas Cavalry this season came via the Kansas Jayhawks. Very impressive group of teams to have lost to this season. Another example of just how strong this Texas Cavalry defense is. Only 4 teams, believe it or not. Cole Travis getting some beater pressure up top. Nearly one-handed catch by Cody Marshall up front. Simone Arenz is trying to run that ball back, and as a matter of fact, before he gets beat, he swats it back in a dive between 2 players, and Becca DuPont is down hard.
That's a big collision there between DuPont and Irwin.
Becca is upset again. She's probably upset from the situation that went down earlier and now being slid into by Casey Irwin.
Yeah, that was quite the hip check there. Knocked both players to the ground.
And they're going to give the ball to Texas Cavalry, as if we really had to pick somebody who was doing the more dangerous act. Casey Irwin went down on one knee, and Becca DuPont slid in, and Becca is asking to be taken off the pitch, I believe. She's not actually hurt.
She's hobbling just a little bit. DuPont seems quite upset.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
We'll see if Simmons can come in and hopefully cool the average head on the field.
And Abby Simmons in great shape. She lives with a personal trainer, Molly Lindsay. Very good beater for Lone Star Quidditch Club, like we said before, not available to Lone Star here today, which those two together on the field, pretty unique combination as Abby, once again, high flyer, very good behind the hoops, got great hands as well.
Cavalry Beaters really trying to cause a distraction here. They finally get it. Augie with the shot over top. Monroe just couldn't get it down.
And Tyrell is going to get driven down into the ground after his shot.
And that is a block by Simmons. Great block by Simmons there, and now it's Langlanais.
Like I said, great hands from Abby Simmons. Back they go. Cody Marshall not being pressured by any beaters, but they're going to wait until their beater gets back into the field of play. See if he actually, thought he was going to sub out there for a second. Holub going to come in here, number 11 for Lone Star. Try to get a nice beat off of Carlos Ilarba. He actually gets the beat off the forearm. Mandy's going to come up with that possession. She's actually going to be thrown down to the ground, still hold on to the bludger, and actually lose it. Wait a minute. I think that bludger belongs. Yes, she does. She's being told to go back to hoops for some reason on that one. Maybe they're saying that she went off broom or something like that, but Lone Star, a failed offensive try, and Snitch Rob is going to be the snitch here today, and two Team USA quality seekers going to be entering the field of play. That's TJ Goley and Josh Andrews. Josh Andrews, of course, looking for back-to-back snitch pulls in the national championship. Nothing, probably a greater feeling. That goal is going to be no good from Lone Star, and Texas Cavalry will quell another Lone Star attack.
Josh Andrews certainly has the height and weight advantage here. Goalie seems a little more wiry of a figure, but
Seeker Rob only caught early one time, I would say. TJ Goley pumped up, as this could be one of his magical moments to add to his career. A guy who's won an MLQ championship, has won the fantasy tournament, the most famous fantasy tournament in the Southwest. A tournament considered to be where a lot of Southwest players make their name. And he's looking for yet another championship. He was a part of the San Marcos Storm to win the Texas Secede League first ever championship.
It looks like we'll see Arenz in at keeper as Augustine Monroe comes in at beater just before the snitch on pitch play. And Arian Goddessy dancing around top, getting away from Stevie Bell. And Cavalry's just trying to probe the perimeter there. There's no beater help. Goddessy driving in. He's a big boy. He gets taken down.
And now he's face down and literally has no other option. And it looks like Texas Cavalry going to go with their two-male beater set as Goddessy's going to be running. He thought he was free from the grip of the Lone Star players. There's going to be a yellow card administered. That's going to be interesting as to what it would be.
Lone Star not necessarily pleased about this call, whatever it is. We'll hear from the referee here in a second.
Yeah, Luke Lugnellis is not going to be happy about that. And something came off one of the officials. And Wright is going to come over here. Is Goddessy going to get the ball in front of the small hoop over here? They're going to move him back. And he gets to stand up, correct? He's inside the keeper zone, and he can't start a penalty with a down player.
He will be able to stand up. However, he's surrounded by basically every single Texas State defender, minus one beater. I don't know if he'll be able to get this off. He does have
Is Goddessy going to need an injury sub?
Support.
Oh, man, that's disappointing. Godessy's going to need an injury sub, going to come out of the game. He's actually going to hustle off the field. There's no need to do that. He can take his time. And his teammates are going to go help him out. That is going to be Kenny Chilton, the secondary seeker for Cavalry out there. He actually pulled against Lake Erie Elite to eliminate them from this tournament.
As I all too well remember. We'll start with
Sorry
the ball.
about that, Matt.
That's all right. We'll start in the near side with Bermudez. He's going to take a leisurely stroll, get spun down by Stevie Bell. They give it outside to Simone Arenz, blocked by DuPont. And what looked to be a power play turns out Lone Star had the chops.
And
we've got a bit of a scrum down here.
And with the snitch on pitch, this scrum could take a while. And they're going to get it to Stevie Bell.
Andrews getting some alone time with the snitch over there.
And Josh Andrews trying to pull for a national championship. He's going to be pulled down by the snitch. He's going to lose his hat, so he's going to get 3 seconds. And they're going to say Andrews was beat. As Duquette is defending the snitch. TJ Goley telling Snitch Rob that he's here to defend, not to try and pull him there. So it's going to allow Snitch Rob to rest a little bit. And it looks like Abby Simmons got beat on the calf. And Simone who is the keeper in there right now. Somebody just threw a bludger at him and gave it to Augie. Augie Monroe, like we said, switching from keeper to beater to match up with Cole Travis and make one of the deadliest combos in the game right now.
You'll notice that both teams come in with a dual male beater set. You've got Travis and Monroe on one side, Duquette on the other side, and Bell, he's coming off of the run. Bell's coming down, he's streaking through, and he missed the goal.
Wait a minute.
Everyone's saying no goal.
Oh,
the crowd's certainly not liking that one.
That is brutal. That is a tough way. Stevie Bell was under heavy pressure from multiple Calvary defenders. As he came around that corner, he stuck his hand, and they're gonna say it's no goal. They're gonna say it's no goal. Craig Garrison upset about it as well. The question is, what is gonna be the result? Is it going to be a turnover over to Calvary? They did track the ball down near the hard boundary over there, and it might go back to them. They got to keep Stevie Bell in this mentally because he is one of the best offensive players that they have, and they won't have a shot to get back into this one without him.
Mike Lene giving him some words of encouragement.
Oh,
and
they
it
changed
looks like
the
that
result.
Goal is good. Gregoire now having some words with the referee. I think
Matt,
he's a little upset with some of the calls.
It's in range. Time to go to work here for TJ Goalie in just a second. Does he wait for it to be a winnable range, or does he try and force overtime in the national championship game here in U.S. Quidditch Cup 11?
It looks like goalie's poised to go for it right now. He's right in front of the snitch. He's got Duquette on one side of him and Travis from Calvary on the other side.
And he drops down to try and avoid it. Cole Travis beat him. He catches Duquette's throw, and Duquette catches Cole Travis's throw.
My gosh, it's like Pokemon out here. Got to catch them all.
Martin Bermudez is going to scoop up a loose quaffle, and Jackson is going to deflect one off the face of Augie to get him eliminated, and Cole Travis is going to be trucked while he's down, and that's going to be a penalty against Jackson, a beater penalty and a snitch on pitch situation. Augie is running as far as he can before he's going to be told to stop. What's happening now?
That was an illegal charge. If I were to
Cole Travis was deemed a down player with one knee down, like you said.
Not even just down, he also didn't have the ball in his possession. You cannot charge a player without a ball in possession. And that's going to be a very costly penalty, especially if it goes through here, because a beater penalty, snitch on pitch in a snitch range game, and yeah, that'll be a yellow card.
And just as this game got in the snitch range, it's probably about to get out of it very quickly, as Calvary is about to have bludger control and only have to take on Michael Duquette, who is hanging out near the snitch here in a second.
It's going to be borderline impossible for Duquette to maintain control here.
Although I have seen Duquette do some pretty amazing things, I doubt on the list of amazing things that he's got in his bag of tricks is ward off Augie Monroe and Cole Travis long enough to maintain two bludgers for a full minute.
And Monroe takes off, grabbing the other bludger. Travis defending the snitch, trying to fight off Duquette. Meanwhile, Cavalry back on the backside of the hoops trying to find something. Pass knocked away by DuPont. What a great athlete, gives it to Bell.
And Stevie Bell coming across mid-pitch. Michael Duquette tracking down one of the loose balls. Hold on a second. Did Josh Andrews just pull for the championship? TJ Goalie is down in a heap. And Josh Andrews says, if it's not good, give me one more. I got this.
Lone Star looking a bit dejected there. We'll see what the referees come out with this. I didn't see anything.
And it looked like Josh Andrews just ran behind the snitch and was able to grab that one. Snitch Rob, a pretty good one, no doubt about that. So if Josh Andrews got past his radar, that's pretty impressive. Ladies and gentlemen, Texas Calvary are back-to-back national champions of U.S. Quidditch.
And for those of you keeping track at home, Augustine Monroe, that is his 5th title.
That is insane. That is insane. Augie and Josh Andrews pulling yet again for the win in the national championship. As the Calvary chant breaks out here. Wow.
Lone Star once again on the bad end of a snitch pull. This has to be heart-wrenching for them. They have gone to the finals, and man, I can't even imagine what they're feeling right now.
As Michael Duquette, a guy who said before this game, months before this one, said that this was going to be his last ride. Have to wonder if he tries to go out on this kind of note, a guy who's won championships with UT. And like we said, a lot of love between these two teams, although they are great rivals. Most of them were once teammates, and they have great respect for one another. And although their decision to play for whatever team, for either team, was their decision, they have come out here and they've played some of the best Quidditch that has ever been played. That is really elite level stuff that we got a chance to see as Quidditch continues to develop as a sport. These two teams holding that torch of what the expectation is for teams across the country. And the national champions are Texas Cavalry, and once again, Austin gets another one.
Absolutely. On one side of the field, elation. On the other, dejection. Lone Star, they're certainly not happy about it, but Cavalry, to do it twice in a row, to do it even once is something of a wonder. To have all the pieces fall into place, to fight through any injuries you have, to get around any strategic falterings, all of that is a wonder. To do it twice in a row, magical.
And the Lone Star teammates embracing each other, McLaren and Duquette. Going over to the final team huddle of the season for Lone Star and for Cavalry. Cavalry going to be celebrating here in a second. They're going to present them the trophy. I'm assuming we're going to get that on camera.
Absolutely, absolutely. After the collegiate final, we will have a presentation of awards, which will name the champions of both the community and collegiate divisions. So stay tuned for that after the collegiate final.
Collegiate National Championship on deck. I know it is because there are about 10 head refs standing in front of the scorers table over there, and I'm assuming they all have some different role that they're going to be in charge of, as we want this game to be called as best to its possible ability. And we looked back at this matchup between Texas Cavalry and Lone Star. It kind of flew by with how this kind of goes, and really, when you look at what Lone Star put together offensively, they had their opportunities. They had their shot. They really generated and created a lot of opportunities for themselves. So I'm sure they're disappointed they didn't come up on the right end of this one. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. But they created those opportunities, just did not finish. Cavalry a little bit more efficient, as this is a low-scoring affair, probably the lowest scoring affair we've seen in about 3 hours on this pitch.
Absolutely. Man, some of these games have been running long. They've been running hard. As you get further into bracket, the snitches get better, the teams get better. And if that snitch on pitch play goes long, you'll start seeing things turn into a track meet where teams are just running back and forth, running up the score. In this case, there was some stout defense. Some offensive missteps perhaps, but incredible defense on both sides of the ball. I was incredibly impressed by the level of play here.
And we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll crown the college national champion right here on U.S. Quidditch Cup 11.